Hello, and you are very welcome to a very special episode of the Take a Pull podcast. Andy and Dec back again. One of probably the more popular podcasts we're going to record this year, Dec, you would have thought. The first day of the Dublin Racing Festival. First things first, how are things? How are you?
Yeah, good. It's probably going to be our biggest podcast of the year. It just seems to be growing and growing. The only thing I could probably liken to is an all-hurdle card on a Tuesday at Punchestown. That's the only thing that might whet my appetite.
Yeah,
as much as this.
It did. It hurt me a little bit watching Thurles today, knowing we didn't cover it as well, obviously.
Yeah,
it was tough. We've got two fantastic guests on the podcast here with you guys as we record on a Thursday evening. First is basically a mainstay at this stage, as he just jumps out and comes back in the nick of time. Hopefully he has put 50 cent in the internet meter. So
he just comes on, gives us a few winners, and then goes missing for a
bit. That's it. Luke Keena, how are things, bud?
Oh, good. Any time the screen went black or we changed something beforehand, I couldn't hear you, which was probably not a bad thing most of the time, but I wouldn't have known when to come in at the start, so I said I better restart.
Oh, very good. How are things, bud? All good?
All good now. Looking forward to a good weekend.
Yeah,
he's
great to have
been, sorry, I'll just say, Luke's been working hard all week now. We've been fortunate enough to see some snippets, but the intro to RTE Racing the weekend will be absolutely spectacular, particularly for like a proud dub like me was really, really impressed with, and nearly bringing a tear of pride to your eye, I'd say. So and make sure you catch it if you can.
What's the over-under on how many times you're going to feature on RTE Racing is the big question as Luke walks around with that blue microphone. Anyway, and we have a very special guest joining us for the first time on the Take a Pull podcast. It is our honour to bring in Patrick Harty. Patrick, thank you very much for taking your time this evening to speak to us. It's much appreciated. How are things and how are you?
Great. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to take part and looking forward to bit of interesting conversation. Absolutely.
Your stable star, Irish Panther, you took the decision to not declare for the Irish Arkle. Well, first things first, how is Irish Panther? How has he came out of Christmas, and what are the plans?
He is absolutely bouncing, in great form. Would really have loved to run him on Saturday, and even had Eddie convinced that it was a good idea to run him if conditions suited. But the long story short is he ran an absolute hell of a race at Christmas, very nearly had Romeo Coolio beaten. Just the last 50 yards caught him out. And I think we all agree, myself, Eddie, the owners, that what he'll encounter in Cheltenham will play to his strengths more than what he'll encounter in Leopardstown. It's almost a furlong and a half shorter. There's an extra fence. It's a tighter track. It's a proper speed test. He's a very, very fast horse. So in our eyes, his best chance of winning a Grade 1 and a championship race is going to be at the Cheltenham Festival, as mad as that sounds. And we just didn't want to do anything that could detriment his chances at Cheltenham. And that's not me saying Cheltenham is the be all and end all. Just for this particular horse, I think the test that he'll encounter in Cheltenham on the old course over 2 miles is exactly what he's looking for. And the potential hard race on soft ground on Saturday isn't what we want.
Take the edge off.
Will that be on Tuesday or Wednesday, Patrick?
Are you tempted by the Wednesday entry?
95% certain to go for the Arkle. But as I've said before, the Champion Chase is just one of those races that can cut up crazily the last number of years. And who knows, like Marine National may or may not run on Sunday. I don't know. He could, if he's beaten, it completely opens up the Champion Chase picture, because you go down through the betting at the moment, and sure half the horses in the top 10 probably won't even run. Yeah,
totally.
You just have to keep having more money on Captain Guinness then.
The consistent mainstay. And how well Irish Panther is taken to fences. Obviously, I'm sure it didn't surprise you. He's obviously progressing. He's in the form of his life at the moment. All right. And were you expecting him to take to fences as well as he did? Because even though he's only had two starts, over the fences, he's an absolute speedball. He hasn't been foot wrong at any fences really. Was that always your idea that he'd always make a great chaser?
Yeah, so we did a good bit of research and homework before we bought him in October 24. JJ Slevin had told me he had schooled him over fences, and he was very, very good. He obviously had running a point to point, and more like his form before we bought him was incredible. Even Haiti Calors was behind him in a point to point. That's just another little snippet of the good form he had. He looked like a chaser. He kind of jumped his hurdles like a chaser. We did think he would improve for a fence, but we thought all last year he'd improve for a summer's break as well. He hadn't had a break for about 15 months when we bought him, and you can't just at the end of October you can't give a horse a break, or you miss the rest of the National Hunt season. So we said we'd drive on and see what we could do and what we could enjoy, and gave him a summer break, and he just thrived for that summer break. Clean slate and go chasing. From the day he first saw a fence, he was electric. He actually only jumped, I think he jumped 6 fences for us before he ran in Nace. We jumped those sort of 3 smallish fences on the all-weather strip on the Curragh, and that he was very good, but they're small fences, and he was actually a bit lethal over them. It was kind of frightening. And about 2 weeks later, it was after he won in Clonmel. One of his owners was very nervous about the prospects of going chasing, so we agreed we'd go for a try and win a maiden. So he found the worst maiden that you could possibly find in Ireland. He won it by 31 lengths on the bridle, so that was brilliant. Everyone's mind was put at ease, and the owners came down then to see him school over fences. Kieran Buckley came in to ride him, and he was absolutely electric. And Eddie just turned and said, he's going to run over fences, and he's not going to see a fence until Nace. He's just a very intelligent horse. He measures up fences, and he's very, very athletic.
Yeah, and speaking of Kieran, it probably doesn't get talked about enough, but I thought the ride he gave Irish Panther on Stevens's Day or Boxing Day, I know he was second. They caught in the last 50 yards. Over 2 miles, he won't be the first nor the last horse to be caught over that 2 mile one at Leopardstown in the last 50 yards. But that was an exemplary ride. Really, really, gave the horse every chance. And yeah, you could see him just suiting Cheltenham down to the ground now. It really is now. Best of luck with him. Very, very exciting. You think you wouldn't be putting anyone off, between 14 and 16 to 1 for the Arkle then?
No, absolutely not. I couldn't put anyone off backing him for the Arkle as long as you just had a 5 each way on for the Champion Chase as well.
All right. What prices have we got, Andy? Do you know?
There's the soundbite. Anyway, I'd be going on the exchanges if I'm backing him for the Irish Arkle. You probably get, Irish Arkle. I mean, the Champion Chase. You'd probably be getting 1,000,000 to 1 there because he's most likely to go to the Arkle itself. But yeah, there's the soundbite anyway.
If you put that soundbite out there, you'll get a soundbite the next day from Barry Connell saying, he's.
Oh, yeah, you having a pop at you?
Who is Irish Panther? Oh, very good. Right, just a quick word then, Patrick, about Irish Panther's former handler, the late great Eddie O'Grady. Obviously, I'm sure you had a good relationship with him. Obviously, trainer Captain Seaby and many other great horses. He obviously, the horse went up for sale. There was no real contact between the yards or anything like that, or was it just normal sale?
Just a normal sale. I actually hadn't spoken to Edward before we bought him. Right. I did speak to Edward after we bought him, and he wished us the best of luck with the horse. And he was very fond of him, and I'm sure he was disappointed that he was being sold and he didn't get a chance to train him. But that's just the way his owner at the time operated. But yeah, Edward was a brilliant trainer. I think you could genuinely say he was a trailblazer. He was absolutely phenomenal around Cheltenham. Did he have 19 winners at the Cheltenham Festival? Yeah, just remarkable. Willie Mullins makes his achievements look small, but they were when Irish horses weren't capable of winning at Cheltenham, O'Grady was going over and regularly winning. It was huge, and you know, he had forgotten his name now. He had that exceptional novice hurdler, Golden Signet. Like they're horses that people in their 70s and 80s talk about as the best hurdler they've ever seen. The same people that have seen Istabrack. So, like, a remarkable man.
Yeah.
I was actually getting my Captain Seabees and my Golden Signets mixed up. I meant to actually say Golden Signet. I was like, oh, he probably thinks I'm a clown. But yeah, a quick word then, obviously, about Captain Seabee, who was, you know, probably one of the. He won a Supreme. It was 8-1 the field, wasn't it? And it was a binocular in there as well. The glory days. What do you remember of him then? An absolute legend, and you know, rocked up to Leopardstown. Always ran his races as well. Yeah, fantastic horse.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible. He had a huge engine. He had huge ability, huge heart, and legs of glass. He was a very, very hard horse to train. He got injured as a 5-year-old and didn't run for the guts of a year. He got injured the year after he won the Supreme Novices and missed another year. But he was a phenomenally talented horse, and he obviously won the Supreme Novices as a 7-year-old. He won the Irish the Ryanair Novices Chase at Punchestown as a 9-year-old, and as a 13-year-old, there are clips. With the Irish Champion Hurdle on this weekend. There's been clips thrown during the week where he led Hurricane Fly and Our Connor down to the last in the Irish Champion Hurdle at 13.
Brilliant.
And managed to finish third. Just remarkable. Remarkable. But no, a huge horse. Like, my grandfather bought him for $4,500, I think, as a foal. And they always loved him. And I think as a 4-year-old, Grandad put a name on him, Captain Seabee. He named him after his own father. So, like, huge pressure on the horse. But he managed to stand up to it and brought us to incredible places. Eddie's first runner at the Cheltenham Festival, and he won. And nobody knew who he was, and just remarkable. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
There's a brilliant interview with Eddie and Mark Walsh on Mark Walsh's podcast where he talks about horses from the past, and it's well worth a listen. Not Mark Walsh, the jockey, Mark Walsh from Paddy Power. So I can't remember what the podcast is called, but
Horse Racing Heroes or something like that, I think.
Yeah. Do you know what, Patrick? The interview?
I do. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of the podcast?
I think. Did you say it, Andy? Yeah, it's Horse Racing.
Yeah,
Heroes.
Horse Racing Heroes, I think it was. Yeah, it's a great listen. Yeah.
It's well worth a listen to anyone who wants to hear a bit more about the camera.
Yeah. A few years ago they were doing, shelf life irrelevant, obviously, when you're reminiscing about the past like that. Yeah, fantastic stories. A few other stable legends that we've talked about many times here on Tap, Patrick. A personal favourite of mine, actually, Grandero Bello. How are things with him? Is he all good? He ran in the Hennessy this year, the Lapbrooks Trophy now at Newbury. Won at Galway as well. I think it was last season. All good with him?
Yeah, he's great. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's going to go to the UK next weekend. There's a Veterans Handicap Chase down in Exeter Sunday week, so we're going to go over there with him. Hopefully he'll be in there with fresher legs than most. He's still quite lightly raced for a 10-year-old, but unfortunately he's in a position, he's rated 137, so he's still a good horse, but there are almost no options for a horse like him aside from rocking up in the Thyestes, the Paddy Power, the Leopardstown Handicap Chase. You kind of have to throw him into those 150 grand races against really strong opposition, young horses that are putting them under pressure, and he just probably needs to come down in the handicap a bit and come down in grade a bit. And the veterans chases are huge in the UK. There's great prize money. There's lots of options, and there's nothing for them here. There's one at Christmas
Limerick, yeah.
He was only 9 at Christmas, so he couldn't run in it. The only one he's
Right.
eligible to run in this side of Christmas is 2 miles 3 around Wexford in April, which is not going to be suitable for a staying chasing winter horse. So we're going over to Exeter to see how we get on next weekend.
Could he go hunting for a bit and maybe have a tilt at the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham or something like that?
He possibly could. I'd say we'll see how we get on this season with conventional races, and then maybe look at that option next year. It's more popular in this country, I suppose. Maybe that's why the veterans races aren't as popular, that you tend to get the older generation going down the hunter chase route. But even that hunter chase route, you get some young horses there that are very good too.
Yeah.
That's not saying the older horses can't compete. It's just he has achieved a lot, and as a result has to carry the weight of those achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, best look at Exeter then next week. And I suppose I'll bring up one more horse who's had 3 starts over fences. Marker 128, Harvard Guy. How's he getting on?
He's coming along. So we missed last season with him through no serious injury, but just lots of niggly problems. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the horse, but he's 17 hands and 600 kilos. He's absolutely huge. And he was brilliant in his novice hurdle season. He won 3 in a row. He was second in a very falsely run grade 3 novice hurdle. And then he was sore after that. And he was kind of just bits and bobs bothering him all last season. He's back in this season. We got him to the track. And I thought he ran a really good race behind Kopek Board in Navan. He blew up halfway down the back straight and then stayed on and then got tired again after the last.
Too nice a race.
Maybe so. I think he's been well treated by the handicapper off 128. But
I think there's a race in him off that for sure.
He's just not straightforward. He's a hard horse to train. No, he sort of warmed. He took a lot of riding at Goran last week. He was being shoved on over the first 3 fences, and then he warmed into it, and then he got a bit bogged in the ground. Look, with all the rain around, hopefully now it'll be a bit easier to train him with soft ground. But he's got a huge engine, and I think he's a very good horse. Just needs a rub of the green and a fair roll of the dice, I'd say.
Patrick, I bumped you into Leopardstown upstairs at Christmas, and one of the horses I asked you about was Cut the Rope. And obviously, while I was chatting to you, I was kind of admiring your ambition, because I did think there was probably easier races you could find for him, but you said no, it was this race or the Pertemps qualifier. So, I did really admire that, and what you're doing with Irish Panther and throwing him into the Queen Mother, and as well as some of your comments about Romeo Coolio online before Christmas, it's good to see, and you're not just picking the easier races, but you might have found one for Cut the Rope now on Monday.
Yeah, we like to aim high, have a cut at a good race and see how we get on. And sure, if you try enough times, something will fall your way. But Cut the Rope, I thought he ran a very good race over Christmas, and he showed plenty at home. And he obviously won a nice bumper when Paul Nolan had him. He's a nice horse, and I'm sure there's days in him for his current owners. They should have some good crack with him. So, touch disappointed. I thought he ran a good race at Christmas, but a touch disappointed that he just, again, kind of lacked a bit of a toe when required. So we found a race for him on Monday, where he's going to be ridden by a 53-year-old maiden jockey in the Up the Yard Challenge. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a good day out. He was actually, funny story, he was bought for a charity race. So Brian Whelan, who's a great friend of ours, he and his family own Birmingham Cameras that sponsor our yard. And Brian decided to do the Pat Smullen Cancer Trials charity race at the Curragh. And of course, being Brian, let's go and buy a horse. So they managed to Cut the Rope, and Brian, who had never ever sat on a racehorse prior to the 1st of March 2025, bought a racehorse, came down to the Curragh 3 days a week to ride him out, and managed to successfully complete the Pat Smullen race on the 30th of August, which is, I think, an achievement that people don't quite give him credit for. And this is a man in his mid-40s as well, who, like, it's not like he's working outside and has a basic level of fitness from an outdoor job. He's in retail. He's got kids to raise and bring to football matches and pick up from school, and he managed to get to a charity race. So absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. Brilliant. And just the story on the jockey you were telling us beforehand, because it's definitely worth a plug and a good look. Anyway, do you want to tell us about, was he 53?
So Fergus is absolutely nuts, and I genuinely, when they made Fergus, after they made Fergus, they broke the mold. He's fairly unique. He's great crack. He's been with us for about 18, 19 months. Really positive, good member of staff. Great guy to have around. From a proper racing family as well. So his father, Robbie Gallagher, was Darky Prendergast's last head lad. He then went on to be Kevin Prendergast's travelling head lad, and he was Mick Halford's head lad for Mick's entire career. And I think Robbie's 78, and when Mick retired last year, he drove over to us and asked for a new job. So I got 78, and he's asking for a new job, looking out stables and just generally helping out. It's brilliant. They're a family with proper work ethic. So Fergus, anyway, going back to him, he was not very good at school, I think is the way he would put it, or maybe a little bit more bluntly than that. He was misbehaving and might have answered a teacher back one day and got sent home. So his father gave him an ultimatum: you either behave in school or you come to work with me tomorrow. So anyway, the next day he went to work with Robbie, learned how to ride, got stuck in, ended up at 14 years old emigrating to the States to work for an Irishman who was breaking horses. Spent 2 or 3 years in the States, did a good long stint in Hong Kong. He was one of the first Irish expats in Hong Kong to get a track license, and he rode Good Baba, who was the highest rated racehorse in the world, for a good 2 years. Really good horseman with a massive amount of experience. So he had never ridden in a race, and we said when the Up the Yard challenge came along, Fergus, why don't you throw your hat in the ring and give it a go? So he did anyway, and Robbie, his father, tells me that when he rides in the race on Monday, he will be his 5th and final son to have ridden in a race, which is a remarkable achievement as well.
That is deadly, yeah, very unique, absolutely. 2 more things for you, Paddy, while we have you here, and then we'll let you on your way. And again, we really do appreciate your time. I'm going to have to turn it to the flat just for 2 minutes, because it'd be silly not to ask you about Killashee Warrior, a really promising 3-year-old filly that you have in the yard, 4th behind Diamond Necklace at the Irish Champions weekend at Leopardstown. Irish 1000 guineas entered. How is she wintering, and is the dream alive for her?
Yeah, great. Done really well over the winter. Did her first fast canter this morning and looked great, full of beans, full of enthusiasm. 3 really good runs at 2. 4th in a nice maiden in Leopardstown, 4th Diamond Necklace in the Inga Bell, and a cosy winner of a Thurles maiden. So she's in the Irish Guineas, she's in the Irish Oaks. We're dreaming. Look, I don't know how good she is or isn't, but she's got solid form. She's a nice sized, scopy filly. She'll hopefully be a stakes horse, and we said, why not put her in those races, and we can dream about it as the winter goes on. Yeah.
So there's a double Irish Panther for the Queen Mother.
Yeah.
Killashee Warrior for the Irish Oaks.
Yeah, daughter of Saxon Warrior, underrated stallion, really, in my opinion, there as well. Very best of luck for her there.
Totally agree. I actually was down in Coolmore today to see the stallions and saw Saxon Warrior. He's
stunner.
Yeah, and great stats. Very, very good. We bought a yearling by him this year, on the back of Killashee Warrior being a successful purchase for us. And I totally agree. An underrated stallion, and like 10 grand in the scheme of what stallions cost is fantastic value.
Yeah. I think with Kilmore, they're doing similar with Saxamore is what they done with Glen Eagles, and he's kind of really came roaring back now the last year or two. And then again, not many sons of Deep Impact that stood in Europe as well. I suppose, Paddy, before we let you go, it is the Dublin Racing Festival. So we've 2 days of unbelievable action. So give us a tip. Who do you fancy, or what do you fancy? Do you have anything that's caught your eye for the weekend?
Sonny Carey worked his filly Brosna Shine with us before Christmas. Well, quite a bit before Christmas, before she won her maiden bumper in Fairyhouse. And I just thought she's a really big, scopy filly with a bit of speed as well. I know I was going to say he's looking forward to running her on Sunday, but I think he's actually really nervous. So that's a
good sign.
Tip. Yeah, when Sonny's getting a bit, Sonny's as calm and as level as they get. So when Sonny Carey's getting a bit nervous, there's something important coming up. So I think she should be in with a bold shout there on Sunday. And going back to Saturday, I'd love to see Spindleberry run well for Fergal and Brona Eastwood. They have Barley Lane in training with us, and Fergal has for a long time has been talking about potentially going for a Gold Cup, and not many mares, if any mares, have tried it really since Dawn Run won it back in the 80s. So if she was able to be competitive at the weekend, I would say if she's top 3 at the weekend, I'd say she'll definitely run the Gold Cup. But with all this rain that's falling, question marks definitely about some of the horses at the top of the market. Champ, a bit of age, only the 1 run this year. She looked very good in Doncaster, and I think she's going to give them a right good run for their money.
Yeah, but she didn't mind when Fairyhouse was deep at Easter after Saturday was called off, so she handled it that day.
She's a soft ground horse who can handle a faster surface.
I wouldn't imagine there's many.
It was quick enough in Doncaster when she won, I think, over the Christmas period. Handled it well that day. But I would say she's typical of a decent horse that'll go on any ground.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's many geldings that'd be giving her £7 or able to give her £7 as well, which is another one into the hat. I suppose one very last thing, if there was one horse you could pick to take home to train that's running this weekend, who would it be?
Oh, that is a good question. Wasn't prepared for that at all.
Yeah, I put you on the spot. It was one question I actually asked a lot of guests, and I have to brought it back now. So
yeah, maybe one of the young sort of novice hurdlers, because you've got so much time. You have your whole career ahead of you. Well, the obvious one would be Golovin Deschamps. Like, who wouldn't love to train a horse that's won 2 Gold Cups? And if we could, maybe if I got him to train as a 5 or 6 year old with his whole career, I'd love that. Or maybe one of the nice novice hurdlers. The run. Romeo Cooley was pretty good. Wouldn't mind training him. I'd say it's probably testament to the quality of the DRF that I would probably be happy to train anything that's running there this weekend.
Fantastic. Well, look, Patrick, we really, really appreciate the time you've given us. Very best of luck with Irish Panther in the Arkle, or possibly the Queen Mother Champion Chase. Who knows? We'll all have a few quid on anyway at your nod. And all the best, and thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks, Patrick.
Cheers.
Thank you. A fantastic interview with Patrick Harty. So we will move on now to the Dublin Racing Festival. A fantastic card on Saturday. We are working with declarations for Saturday and no declarations for Sunday, as I said, as we record here on a Thursday evening. The first race, one of my favourite races of the season. It's usually been quite good to me, but it's the Nathaniel, Lacy and Partners Solicitors Novice Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 event for 5-year-olds. It's registered as the Golden Signet. How on earth did I get Captain CB and Golden Signet mixed up? I'm probably the only person in the world to have ever done that. It was great listening to Patrick talk about Captain CB as well. I probably, Captain CB running at 13 years of age in those grade ones. Yeah, unreal. Right, a real competitive field. I suppose a word of warning that I think since this race was in its kind of modern version at 2 miles 6 and a grade 1 status, no horse has ever won it and then gone on to win at the Cheltenham Festival. The last horse to win this and win at the Cheltenham Festival was Let's Dance, and that was when it was over 2.5 miles and it was a grade 2. So it has been a tough one for people looking to find Cheltenham winners, but we're not here to find Cheltenham winners. We're here to find winners for Leopardstown. Dr. Steinberg heads the market at around even money, depending on where you look, and then it's Gordon Elliott with Battalion in behind there, Santos Asper, Risk Away, Kazansky, Jalan Dederis. Luke, since you've been quiet there for the last 40 minutes or so listening to that interview, we'll come to you and we'll let you open your mouth. Hopefully your Wi-Fi is still working there. Who do you like for the Golden Signet and why?
I should have just joined in now, lads.
Probably. Anyway,
no, this is good and competitive. The first race, there's no standout really in this division so far, but you'd like to see something throw their hand up in the air. And I was siding with, I think Jack might be on the wrong one here for Gordon. I was liking Santos Osper. He was bet the first day over hurdles, as a lot of Gordons were, and he went on to win at Punchestown quite impressively. He was better again in Clonmel the last day. He bet 2 solid yardsticks, the 2 of them. Went into the race with ratings in the 120s, and he fairly put it to bed. They pulled a long way clear. I know Paul Townend's horse came down 3 out or 2 out, but he was bet at the time, I thought. This lad stepping back up and trip a bit of heavy ground isn't going to be an issue to him. I think Sean Bowen might get the weekend off to a good start here.
All right, Santos Asper for Lukey. Dec, coming to you next. Who do you like?
Yeah. Look, I fully agree. Really like this horse. I've already backed him for the Albert Bartlett. He's 5-year-old. He beat the wager in a bumper at Punchestown. I think it was Punchestown. I was there that day, and like the wager is well thought of, and he's since been bought by Luke McMahon and trained by Willie Mullins, and has won a bumper at Fairyhouse for Willie. I'd just be prepared to just ignore that, forget that Wexford debut ever happened. He's beaten Burley Lane at Punchestown. Burley Lane's got a mention off Patrick when he was on there. Then he won the conditions race, as Luke said, at Clonmel. I think Charles has actually been chipped on from Willie's as well. The horse
really?
Yeah. But look, he was winning. I think it was really nice. That was over 2 mile 1, but I think the further he goes, the better he'll be. I think he's very, very exciting. Like tackle Tommy Will had a good look at, but he's back in trip wouldn't really entice me. Kazansky unseated at Down Royal early on in the season, but he was well held now. When was he brought down or unseated? He was well held anyway. And then he toughed it out at Limerick, but I'm not sure of that race. Like now, if he goes in, people get giddy for county hurdle, county final. They get giddy, but I'm not too sure. I know that races at Limerick has shown up plenty of, Albert Bartlett winners, but I'm not sure it was. I just don't know about it yet. Like, it was a funny race. They were all over the place. None of them wanted to win it. They were all heading each other after the last. Jalan Dederis, look, he may have been in front too soon at Leopardstown and just ran down by. He kept on, but he's still a maiden and he's a 7-year-old. I know this race has probably been won by plenty of maidens who have looked a little bit slow, maybe. And he may suit into. He may suit what you're looking for in this race gone past, but I just think Santos Asper will be too good. I will give Risk Away a mention because I absolutely love him, and I was bitterly disappointed he was beaten by Stormheart at Limerick, and he looked to be cruising down the back straight. Stormheart was getting at it, and I was very disappointed with how he finished. I don't know if anything's come out of it. If there was a genuine excuse for that, if they came out and said something, I think he'd be worth an each way bit. But look, I think Santos Asper I'd say he's a good thing here. And I think Robcor might have got a bit of stick on this show over the years, but they have a strong hand with their younger horses now. I don't know whether they listen, I'd say they definitely don't listen to us, but they've changed things around. They've shifted a lot on. They've got rid of a few, and they've went out and bought well, I think. So like, fair play to them, credit where it's due, and I hope they get the weekend off to a flyer with Santos Despair.
Yeah, he definitely has a good chance, Santos Despair. He wouldn't be I'd have him in the 3 anyway, for sure. Dr. Steinberg, I thought he was going to be a little bit more popular as when people looked at the form, at the Navan Novice Hurdle form with the Devil Grade 2 event. I think that might be a little bit flattering, because we were texting during that race and we were kind of couldn't believe what we were seeing. They were hitting 34 miles an hour over the second hurdle at Doncaster, while Sean O'Keefe was out the back, miles out the back, and came there swinging because all the others fell in the hole.
He's still getting the leg up, he was.
It was bonkers riding. And yeah, look, I suppose the horse still had to be talented enough to go and win the race, but you look at Dr. Steinberg's overall kind of body of work. Like, I've always loved Murat, and he made Dr. Steinberg look ordinary in a Galway bumper. Now, albeit these are staying trips, and I suppose it is a different discipline, but I'd be happy to take him on at even money. You were so close though, Dec. I thought you were going to lean that way. You were talking about Jalan de Derry. I really, really fancy Jalan de Derry to go and win this race, and he's double figure price. The reason I very much fancy him is I don't think decent ground is really his bag. The ground was yielding to soft at Cork when he was kicked out away by Sortudo, who you think would go well in a Supreme, Dec. So he was never probably going to be winning that race. And then after that, he was a little bit disappointing, 6-4 favourite, when outdone in the finish by Frankie John. Again, changing his legs a little bit up the straight, possibly wasn't suited by being in front and just kind of got mugged. But you go back to his bumper form, he went off champion bumper favourite after beating Major Barrier Ferryhouse and then Redemption Day at Leopardstown. He's then third in the champion bumper, 3-1 favourite, and he's beaten by Romeo Coolio and Jasmine DeVoe, who, an Albert Bartlett winner, and then the current, star 2 mile novice chaser at the moment. That's the last time he's encountered testing ground. You go back and look at 7 years, this race tends to be won by very experienced horses, which you also acknowledge, Dec. I think Final Demand was really kind of the anomaly last year, and that's why we took him on. I know that Barry Connell won the race as well with
Goodland.
With Goodland. He was a little bit of an anomaly too, but like you think of horses like...
He was a bit early now when he won this. He was
an older horse, yeah, but you think of horses like Tower Bridge, Manila Cocooner, you think of horses like Dancing City, and Jalan de Derry, like Dancing City, he missed a season and came back and wasn't too impressive in maiden hurdles. Dancing City had that kind of grinder look off him, and I think Jalan de Derry has that kind of grinder look off him as well. I think he's just going to be held up by Jordan Gainford. I think there won't be many coming home better than him. Got age and experience on his side, returns to testing ground. I think he's colossally overpriced here personally. I think he's a really good chance. So I mentioned I'd be doing an each way Yankee over the 2 days. He's the first one in my Yankee at around 16-1. I might do a forecast with Santos Despair since you guys really fancy him as well. Well, that's where I'm going anyway in the first. Jalan de Derry and the lads on Santos Despair. Dec, I'll come back to you for the Juvenile Hurdle, the Gannon City Recovery and Recycling Services Juvenile Hurdle, known as the Spring Juvenile Hurdle. 2 miles. We've got Narciso Haas versus Monge 2, round 2. And we have the likes of North Shore, Salman Davari, an interesting runner there, Philly Bozarek, Immediate Effect, a son of Study a Man winner at, I think it was on New Year's Eve. And then with 2 Jigging Sound pairs, Barbizon and Bertruy up the top there. Who do you fancy here?
Oh, look, I'll probably be with Monge too. I've mentioned how well Rob Corr have bought and they have with these younger horses. She hasn't been seen since she won at Fairyhouse, and she done it quite well. Now, I on another podcast, I was making the case that Narciso Haas had only been Adrienne by the same distance, was kind of put me place on times and that, but I still think she'll get the better of Narciso Haas. Look, I probably would have been with Highland Crystal if she'd have turned up here, because I've just so impressed with her, and I probably would have been tempted to have an each way on Adrienne at 50-1 if she's going to run here, because you know, the form is still solid, like, you know, so she could have ran into a place, but no, look, I'll be with Monch too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Selma Davari now at 9-1 and a bit of money coming for her. The hood is on. She's probably fresh off the boat. Willie's just seen her there the other week in the yard going, we better run her in the spring juvenile. We'll stick the hood on just in case. Probably the joker in the deck, but I'm with Jan Monge too. I think she's the one they have to beat. I know she had a run under her belt, but I don't see Narcisco Haas definitely reversing the form. I'm actually quite surprised it's 4-5 versus 3-1, to be honest with you. It's a big change. Lukey, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm singing from the same hymn sheet as you. Like, it's all about the price here. Like, managed to bet him the last day, and she actually only gave him £3. She gets the 7 this time. Like, she's 3-1. Narciso Haas, he was very good over Christmas, and they probably rode him with a bit more vigor. He's a bit more positive on him early, and he kind of put the race to bed. But like, it was only the same distance from Farias. The two horses probably did come forward plenty from it. But like, I'd be a big fan of her. I'd liked her in Down Royal, like the way that she's done so much wrong and still found enough to win up there early in the season when Gordons were kind of getting bet first time up. I like her a lot.
Yeah, there we go. Potential nap at the top there. Yeah, and
Gordon,
just
2-0 to Gordon, is it?
2-0 to Gordon. Yeah, he's putting his foot on Willie's neck now. Yeah, so I suppose just as in case anyone didn't see our tweet, we did not tell each other who we fancied going in here. So this is all organic. So 2 for Santos Esper. We have a potential nap at the top in the Spring Juvenile already. And yeah, only on to the third race now. We see a return of another very special guest in the third race. This is the Race and Stay Leopardstown Handicap Hurdle. It's a 3-mile handicap hurdle. Always a very competitive affair. It seems like there's kind of outside of Staffordshire, not the top weight would have been Diart, Daily Present, and Yates Star, all on 131, but they're all carrying under 11 stone because of Staffordshire not in here under Carl Miller. He's probably only going to have one way of going here, most likely from the front. Interesting runner, to say the least. Dec, we will come to our special guest last.
Yeah, okay.
So I suppose I'll just run through my fancy real quick, then I'll come to Lukey. Yeah. We were talking about the Golden Signet there. County Final is here as your 9-2 favourite. We talked about him as a potential Martin Pipe horse deck at Christmas time. And I do think he's well handicapped off 128. I wouldn't be in love with him, trying this type of race now. I'm not absolutely convinced he's the dourest of dour stayers. He's definitely worth a chance, but I think he is priced accordingly at the moment. The one I came down on was Grand's Boy, who's going to be ridden by Dara O'Keefe. Very much was a flat horse. He's by Zoffany. He had 13 flat starts, winning twice. He's had 9 hurdle starts, but he's actually won 3 times over hurdles. Has a rating now of 130. So he's doing very, very well over hurdles. He was a winner at Thurles on the flat in October, and then he was a good second to Sport in the Park at Galway in October. The horse does go very well fresh though. He was a 33-1 winner in testing ground at Ferryhouse last Easter under Dara O'Keefe, albeit off 109 when he beat Stick With The Process, who I think went on to win some races, if I'm not mistaken. I just think he's overpriced at 22-1. They clearly earmarked this race because he goes well fresh. They've managed to retain Dara O'Keefe, which is very much a positive. He's still only a 6-year-old, plenty of experience. Could still be progressing. He's north of 20-1 in a race that, for a progressive horse, I think would have a fair each way chance. He's actually the second horse in my each way Yankee. The rest of them, I believe, actually, no, I think there actually might be 3 on the Saturday, 1 on the Sunday. Anyway, Lukey, I'll come to you next.
Yeah, this is fairly competitive. I'm kind of singing from the same hymn sheet here again. I'm a big fan of County Final. I think we both liked him at Punchestown. There's a lot to like about the run in Limerick when he stepped up and tripped the last day. Like, his price is what he is, but I do think he is the most likely winner. Because you were mentioned about Grand's Boy, like he's still, I couldn't believe it when I seen this, but he's still only 6. Like, he's like, feels like he's been around for ages. Like Harry Rogers, he won the Liffey, was it last year? Lord Erskine won it.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah, like, and this horse, like for a horse that's run so much on the flat, he looks to still have a bit of plenty of upward side to him over hurdles. Like he won on heavy down in Listow, then he went on to win in Thurles, and Adam dropped a stick that day, I'm fairly certain, and like he was well punted that day, 5-1 into 7-4, and he just about got the job done. So he was talking about that run in Galway. That was a good run. Attaboy Charlie was back in third that day, having a nice little pipe opener. I think like around 20-1 there, I'd be happy to take a chance on him each way.
So 2 for the 20-1 shot, Grands Boy. Dec, have we convinced you, or has something else caught your eye?
I didn't need an awful lot of convincing. Look, I as you'd expect, any race like this, quite a long short list. And Grands Boy was on it, like, you know. And like Luke said, I was quite surprised he's a 6-year-old. Harry Rogers doing a great job. And was he a non-runner at Fairley House when he was absolutely punted off the boards early
Did we tip him that day, did we?
No, I don't think we did. I think we were taking him on, but he was favourite, and I think he was just going to go and win. Okay. I think it was Grant's Boy. It was a Harry Rogers horse anyway. Look, the one I was looking at was dipped in the moonlight. She's up £5 for the second to the Burns horse on her handicap debut over 3 miles. She's beaten over a length. It's harsh, like that £5. She's a point-to-point winner. She's a flat winner, and she's a bumper winner. She's only a 6-year-old as well. But the jockey, like Michael Keneally's gonna have to take his time here. Like, you know, we're gonna have testing ground, and it's 3 miles in a very, very deep race. He's going to have to change his tactics. The tactics we see an awful lot, and take his time. If he does, it could be a very vulnerable 7, but he can't just gun them all the time, like, you know, because I don't think we're going to get away with it in a race like this. And look, I was quite keen on her, and I've gone a little bit cold on her. Like, Wenrock's in here was the major eye catcher over Christmas. That was handicap debut. Plenty of experience, up in trip. Son of Arnicky's one I like. Small Town Heroes one I would have been looking at. I was looking at Small Town, but he's £5 wrong now with Gordon leaving Staffordshire now. But like, I don't know where his ceiling is either, and they're doing such a good job. But I don't think you're gonna get away with being £5 wrong in a race as deep as this. One of them that I think could run a massive race, and he's an old favourite of mine. He's been a horse to follow for many years back. I thought he was a really, really good novice hurdler. He missed the season then, but look, he's got his couple of wins in over fences, including the Kim Moore and his daily present. He's only had 15 career runs. He's a big, big price. Like
50-1.
Was it?
50-1.
50-1. I think he had his pipe opener at Christmas, and it was over hurdles. It'd been a long time since he ran over hurdles, but he was a decent novice hurdler. I know he was pulled up in a grade 1 at the Punchestown Festival, but I think, did he win the King Fours or something like that? Or, you know, he was a decent enough hurdler, and I was talking to a friend of mine, Cottle Carroll, and he likes him as well. So that's kind of, you know, I'm in good company, because that man knows his onions, and apparently he's the reason that the Coral Cup is no more. But we'll talk about that another day. Look, I would have been quite keen on Dipped in the Moonlight, but
£3 wrong she is, I think.
But
Michael Keneally, what's Michael Keneally's absolute bottom weight? Like, he's taken 7 off 10. Like,
taking 7 off. I'm not sure he can do it.
No,
look, I might have been looking or scrambling for the climber, I think,
right,
to take weight off. So yeah, look, I'll you know, but we'll have it between Grants Boy and Daily Present. Surely at those odds you can take 2.
There's another forecast for you anyway. Grants Boy and Daily Present. 2 of us for Grants Boy, 1 for Daily Present. Dec, we do have one more special guest really quickly. Who
I really forgot to get the thoughts of the machine.
Yeah, just in case we draw a blank and have a nightmare here. What does the bingo machine say about the racing?
How many runners have we got?
We've got a field here of 24.
Oh, okay. I know you were giving out me earlier, but
what?
Okay,
you played 100 balls there, do you?
10.
Number 10. So the bingo machine is with Timmy Tuesday, 50-1 shot, and I think the reason for that is Staffordshire Knott's in to keep the weight down for him, is it?
Oh,
Gordon Elliott, Paddy Cleary playing 7.
What do you think, Machine? Yeah, just give me a thumbs up.
Give it a thumbs
He's
up,
gone back
right?
to his point.
Timmy Tuesday for the
no
Machine.
Mug, this fella.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, on to the Goffs Irish Arkle. Unfortunately, no Irish Panther for Patrick Harty and team. Just the 3 runners, but still a really competitive heat. The lowest rated being 145. I'm assuming Carghese would have eclipsed that rating, despite only running twice over fences. She was impressive, beating Lovely Hurling on her second chase start at Christmas time. Your 2's on favour, however, is going to be Romeo Coolio, the winner at Christmas time and winner of the Drinmore as well. Jumps fences and I'm trying to think of a quick comparison, but I can't really. Jumps fences like a god, I suppose. Down Mexico way, 22 to 1 shot. Hard to make a case from. I saw a few people mention the Grand Annual for him, but he's already rated 145 in Ireland. I'm not sure what he's hiding there now, to be brutally honest with you. And then the mare Carghese taking 7 getting 7 from Romeo Coolio down Mexico way. I have no opinion here, Dec. I think Romeo Coolio just go and win this race, to be honest. I'll be happy to sit in the Larkspur and watch this. Who do you like?
No, look, I think Carghese puts it up to him. I think she grows into her season. She was very bitterly disappointed on Chase debut. She looked back to more like what we know she can do at Christmas. And look, it's going to be very tactical, isn't it? And you can probably put a line through this race no matter what happens. But at the prices, if I was forced to have a bet, look, I was going to back her for the champion hurdle. I think I did back her for the champion hurdle. Danny Mullins put her up as an anti-post bet for the Arkle at the very beginning of the season, back in October when he's interviewed at Ferry House. I think she's going to keep growing and growing into her season, and we might have a 1-2 of mares in the Arkle after Irish Panther goes to the champion chase.
Very good. Lukey, what is your thoughts on the Irish Arkle?
No, I'd just be all over Romeo Coolio here, but would I back him? Probably not. I'd probably just rather back him for Cheltenham if I was doing anything. I wouldn't be the biggest fan of Carghese. I thought the only horse that kind of went with her the last day was James's Gate, and he came down, 2 out, and it was kind of race over. There's nothing else was too busy in behind. Romeo Coolio has been faultless. I know he kind of scrambled to get up to beat Irish Panther the last day, but I'd wondered if they just gave him a bit much respect the last day, or didn't give him enough respect, and he kind of just got first run and everything. He done well to pick him up. I'd imagine Paul's going to have little choice in the mare, and he's going to have to make the run on Carghese here, and she's going to go away. Jack just a length or 2 off her and picking her up going over the last.
Yeah, no, sounds good. So Carghese for Dec, and then it'd be Romeo Coolio for the both of us, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, very good. Right, we're as we patiently wait for Dec to, I can only assume, come back from the fridge or the cabinet. Here he comes now. Look, this brilliant. Here he is. There he is. Happy days. We have just in time for the main event of the whole week, and Jesus, what a race this is! The Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. This is this has the potential to bring the house down. We've got Galopin de Champ, otherwise known as the Rascal of the Fields, I think, is Lauren with her French reliably tells us. Great name, by the way, Rascal of the Fields. 13 runners. Obviously, the only real horse we're missing here, just Splans Tower ran last week, is fast or slow, and obviously Haiti Calor, unfortunately not been able to make it because of travel issues. I think with weather issues, which is a real pity. Fair play to
they're always like the common travel area. You don't even need a passport anymore.
Yeah, stuck in the duty free was Haiti Calor. Hates waiting, apparently. Like a lot of people. But Jenny Mac, this is like, you could have the Gold Cup winner, the Grand National winner, the Irish Grand National winner. They could all be in here. It's a really, really top race. 11 to 10, or drifting from 11 to 10 to 6 to 4 is Galopin de Champ. I'm not going to go on, but I might explain a bit more that I've a theory that he mightn't be able to run to 175 anymore, but we can talk about that later on. The Savills Chase winner, Affordale Fury, in here 8 to 1. Has possibly the ground gone on him now? I know it is the chase track at Leopardstown, but like that, it was a lot of rain there.
It's booking now at the moment. it's been booking.
It's heavy. It's heaving out. Gaelic Warrior, who probably hates Leopardstown more than anyone on this planet, is your second favourite, which I find quite baffling. He's proved me wrong this year. He's been a much better horse, hasn't he? Like excellent run to King George.
Yeah.
Fact to file. Look, he's an each way price, but I can't see him winning. Look, I'll reserve my thoughts. Dec, I'm going to come to you here for a phenomenal race. 13 runners. Who's your fancy?
Yeah. Look, it's brilliant, right? Look, and look, you have to begin by talking about Galloping des Champs. And all I wanted to see was galloping and fast or slow over the last and having the right ding dong up the straight. And you know, they have been so big for racing for the last few years, and they've turned up. What is this? Is it 4-3 or is it between them? Or
four? Is it four? Luke, score between Galopan and Fast or Slow is what? 4. I think it's 4-2 to Galopan des Champs. I want to say.
No, I don't think so. Now,
I'd say there's one between them.
Yeah, I think there's only one between them, if even that. Like, you know. Okay. But look, all I wanted to see was Galloping and Fast or Slow go over the last. And you know, Fast or Slow is kind of, you know, the poor brother, is he? Like he's kind of the forgotten horse because of how brilliant Galloping has done and because of what it achieved. And what Galloping has done is it's sold out Saturday. I know so many people going Saturday, not because of the festival or the Cheltenham factor that it's kind of bringing. They're going with a genuine interest. There's people going to see Galloping des Champs, and people are going to be interested in racing. And you know, he's done more than a lot of people, or a lot more than money can do for the sport, really. Like, do you know what I mean? He is the people's horse, and like people just want to go and see him win. And I'd love nothing more than to see him win. But unfortunately, I think we're going to see the passing of the torch or the passing of the guard, because the Alfred Fury was going away again at the Lion, and Galloping des Champs, it was really, I kind of didn't want to believe, you know, I didn't want to believe it was over. But when I sat down to look at the race and you see Galloping 10-year-old, Fast or Slow 10-year-old, Iron Maximus 10-year-old, and then I looked at Aphrodite Fjord and I looked at Spindleberry and their 8-year-olds. And then you think back to the race, and Aphrodite Fjord was, look, I know we were saying, look, a run under his belt for Galloping, but Aphrodite Fjord was going away again. And I think it's between him and Spindleberry. And I love the both of them. Aphrodite Fjord is probably before the TAP days even, Andy. Well, actually, hang on a minute.
I was right on it, I think.
You are?
It was, no, it might have just been.
Yeah, no, it was before it, but obviously he became, you know, he's entered the TAP Hall of Fame.
Ah, yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, at Christmas, or he's certainly up for the award, like, you know, so, and obviously you've got your money out of him that I never got.
Yeah, I always made nothing now. Yeah, you were the one banging the drum, and then I just wanted to tip them. It's like you did all the work, and I just copied your exam, and you just didn't hand it in.
But look, Spindleberry's been massive for the show as well. Like, we were a big fan of hers last year. We might have covered the meeting where she won her maiden hurdle, and then she's gone and won the Gold Cup, the Novice Gold Cup at Fairy House. I have it between them. I can see them just like they're probably going to walk. You know, they'll probably all have a chance coming to the last, and after they jump the last, I can just see the two of these. If the conditions are right for them pulling away, you'd have to say the way it's raining at the moment, Spindleberry, it's in her favour. Like. But like, she's handled deep ground at Fairy House after they had a meeting called off the day before. So at the moment, if it keeps raining, even though it's on the chase track outside with Spindleberry, but I kind of nearly upset saying it, but I have it between Aphrodite Fury and Spindleberry, and it's, you know, the torch will be passed.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, but that roar from the crowd when Galloping des Champs hit the front after the second last on Christmas time. Yeah. If that happens again, I just want to experience that roar one more time. That was just, unbelievable. Lukey, I'll come to you for the main event. Who do you like?
Ye of little faith, huh? Giving up on poor old Galloping.
He just, you
last year
see, Luke's after spending the last 6 hours putting the best vignette RTA is ever going to see together, and he's probably sitting there sweating. Galopin Des Champs has to win the race now in order for them to show it. Okay, go on.
We're going to be singing "Ole Ole" again in the stands when this lad goes by again. I thought you were on a cracker at Christmas. He probably didn't travel with as much zest as he usually does. I thought like he needed a few jumps to keep him in it down the back straight. I think we're going to see a different horse here, like back on slower ground. I can see him going out in front here, and like without Haiti Colores here, like Lecky Watson might be up in the van. But I don't see much else taking him on early. Affordale Fury, but I'd be a slight bit worried. He was jumping plenty right the last day. He's gonna. I know it was a good run the last day, but he's probably gonna have to run better up to a higher standard to win this, because I think Galopin will have come on plenty. Gaelic Warrior, sure, he just hates the side of Leopardstown. I know the way you're thinking. You'd like to see a little bit more from him. He probably showed the most he did last season in this race before Cheltenham. He ran on to be fourth, but probably their eye was half on the Grand National at the same time. I just think Galopin Des Champs is going to get another big send-off, and they're going to be singing "Ole Ole" and running around to the stands come Saturday at about 20 to 4.
Look, it would be unbelievable. And as I said, like I know people, friends of friends, like and they've such a genuine interest in going to see Galopin Des Champs. They're not just going for the day out. They're not just going because this festival has grown and grown into what it is now and it's sold out. They're going to see Galopin. Like, and I think that's the difference in Britain and Ireland when it comes to racing. Like, there's people who are genuinely interested. They're not going on the piss. They are going to see Galopin Des Champs. Like, you know, I know lads that I've had to bring monkey hats home from Cheltenham in his colours, like, you know, for fellas that don't know anything about racing. And that's what he's done. But I love him to win it, but my money won't be on him. It'll be on Spindleberry most likely. I will say though, actually, before we move on from this race, if Lecky Watson jumps the first or the second in front, I'll take my phone out of my pocket and I'll go bum and I'll back him, because we haven't seen him doing it since the Broadway, and every time he's won over fences, he's virtually made all. But I have a feeling we won't see him handy until Aintree. And he'll be up there, ears pricked, seeing another big bunch of cloud in front of him, jump that lovely big green cloud. I'll get over that. I'd say he will have the time of his life in the National when they're spread across the track, and you don't have the front run, but you can be very, very handy, and the horse can just feel like he's up there in the van or leading. He'll have the time of his life. If it's not, I'd love to see him make it in the Gold Cup, but the fact he hasn't gone to the front the last 2 times tells me that it might be Aintree.
Yeah, and it definitely is Aintree. I was actually literally about to tip. I was about to give you 3 tips actually. And the first one, I had it between, like you, I had it between Affordale Fury and Spindleberry. I thought that, you know, I think Spindleberry, you know, I don't think there's many geldings that are going to be able to give her £7 now, to be honest with you. She did very well to win as easily as she did at Doncaster, despite making a pretty bad mistake. Danny Mullen's keeping the ride. Might be ridden quite patiently. It's a big test for her, but I wouldn't put it past her now, and I think she's got a phenomenal chance. I've still made the I have the theory now that Galopin Des Champs, I'm not 100% sure he'd be able to run to past 170. I don't think he's done it since the Savills in 2024. As I've mentioned, they gave him a total freebie in this race last year when he beat Grange Clare West. Below par, behind, I know the way you're thinking, in the Gold Cup. Got another freebie at Punchestown, and the winning distance possibly exaggerated because of the mistakes Bland's Tower made. And then we saw what he did last time out behind Affordale Fury, where granted he needed the run, but like that's 4 runs now where, in my opinion, like obviously maybe with the exception of Punchestown where he had everything his own way, I don't think he's ran past 170. And I think there's a few horses in here that have the ability to do it, one being Affordale Fury, the other being Spindleberry. The persistent rain is what's putting me off Affordale Fury. We had a great time at Christmas, but I'm going to have to park him for the moment. I'm going to go with the mare Spindleberry to win this race, taking the £7. I'm really excited about her. And the other 2 tips I was going to give, well, I'm going to back 3 horses in the National, and I'm probably going to back them quite soon. Backing 2 of them tonight, and the other probably closer to the day, and then I'll forget about it. One being Lecky Watson, because of pretty much what Dec just said, 33-1 at the minute. I think he'll win the National under Sean O'Keefe, possibly. His brother Dara's going to ride Monty Star, who's the same price, 33-1. Another horse who's going to love those Aintree fences. Very efficient jumper, always has been. Both of them you could see being prominent and possibly fighting it out at the elbow at Aintree. And then the other one is just a horse that could go around Aintree blindfold at the minute. He's currently 12-1 for the race. I am Maximus. You couldn't not back him, really. He was actually unlucky a little bit last year as well. So you'd think he'd hit the frame, all being well. Possibly. What's he got in? Well, the funny thing is, he got dropped £1 for his second last time out. So you wouldn't know, man. 170. He's now rated £2 actually. Sorry, he's 170 and now he's rated 168. He'll be top weight most likely, but I think they're the 3 horses I'll be backing in the National and forgetting about it. And then Spindleberry to win the Irish Gold Cup is my selection. Right, 2 more races on the Saturday, lads. The first of those 2 is at 4:05, the Barberstown Castle Handicap Chase, the listed race. Do you want to start with the special guest this time, Dec? Who does he like?
Yeah, well, my bet of the weekends in this race, but we'll get the thoughts in the machine.
Get the thoughts in the machine. We've only 14 going to post here now, so you might have a few duplicates.
See what he had for us. Oh, jeez.
He had a 50. Timmy Tuesday, the 50-1 shot last time. So
Number 3,
Adragul, 15-2. Gavin Cromwell, Owen Staples taking £5 off. Tongue Tie is on. Winner last time out at Leopardstown. Course and distance, beating Release the Beast.
He's a proud lad, the machine.
Yeah, well, that race at Christmas time is often thrown up the winner of this race as well, or at least the winner or the horses ran in that race. So
Folk Tiara do it, or it's fine.
Pound Jarrett came from that race as well last year, I believe, who is in here again.
What's the Cromwell horse that was going over the banks there last week?
Final Orders, yeah. What a horse he is. Right, Dec, you're betting a week, you said, was it?
Yeah, look, Mark Coco. He got now. I don't think me and you actually still know what weight he carried in the Dan Moore, but like he's a 6-year-old. He got £8 for the second Dan Moore. Sean Cleary Farrell keeps the ride. That was his handicap debut. I think it was only maybe his second or third run in Britain. He's my bet of the weekend. Look, it's great to see Battle of Ridgeway here. It was. I remember.
Dec, I'm doing it as well.
Are you doing it?
We're so back. We're so back. Anyway, go on.
we tipped him up. I remember we tipped him up and he won a beginner's chase at Turles or Clonmel or something. And I got a message. It was early days of TAP, and I got a message going, because nobody else was ever talking about these races. So it's like, I just love the dirty, the dirty tips you give them, those filthy races. So it's kind of always stuck with me. I can't remember who it was, but he was early doors with TAP, and Andy stuck by him.
He's mugged me off so many times since.
Yeah, and look, come here. Martin Hassey could have a good weekend because
he could, yeah. He absolutely could.
Because we'll talk more about it on the next TAP. But he's not without a chance. But I think Mark Coco is a good thing. I'll be putting him in a double with the other handicap chase on the next card.
Right. So we've Adragil for the machine, more Coco for Dec, and yeah, I'm with Battle of Ridgeway, ready to be mugged off yet again. This horse has done awful things to me since we tipped him up that day. So long ago, yeah, Turles. I think it was 2023. Dec. It was literally one of the very first taps. And I followed him so many times, and he's done me. Now I think he's done me. I think he's won 3 times, and I'm pretty sure I backed the horse. I was second or third to him the 3 times as well. But we're back on it. Is he in my each way Yankee? No. I was thinking, was he going to be? But there's 2 more on Sunday. I'll do 2 Saturday, 2 on Sunday. If you wanted to be mad and turn it into an Ecuadorian or a Peruvian, you could lob him in. But
Well, we've had a few new countries sent in. Somebody was looking for an El Salvadorian.
Well, that's Central America, though, isn't it? It's not South America. I think, isn't it?
Look,
I think. What's your geography like? I know we're not here to
Well,
talk geography.
I've often done a Panamanian myself.
Very good. Right, so Battle of Ridgeway, winner last time out, and I think he beat a very well handicapped horse and may call you back. Maybe there's a hint there, maybe there's not. He's 24 starts, 13 chase starts, but he's in flying form this year, and I don't think this race is going to take as much winning as you might think. And I think Dec's on a good wavelength there with more Coco. I would be looking at informed horses. Like in the pocket, I would be surprised if he was getting busy. Jacob's Ladder, it's he's a really nice novice, but I don't know if I'd be backing a novice in a race like this off 143. It is the likes of your Adrigals, your Western Diogos, your more Cocos, Battle of Ridgeway. They're the ones I would be honing in on, but it is Battle of Ridgeway for me under Liam McKenna. 127, I think it's still workable. Should hit the frame at least. Luke, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm with Dec here with more Coco. We were in Ferrios that day for the Danmore, and beat both back, touch me not, and sure we were saying after we went by the stands first time, this can't get better now. This is over.
Get down there and let that Luke. What?
But like he ran away with him like all over the far side and turned in. You're thinking Dasher, he has to stop here at some stage. And like he kept going, and it took Western Diego to pull out all the stops now to go by him. Touch me not faded. It's barely tame in the end, and like more Coco just stayed going. Like 2 miles around here, second time in a handicap. I know the handicapper didn't miss him the last day. Now he gave him the same as the winner.
He clobbered him, yeah.
He like 8 pounds for finishing 3.5 lengths second. Like he gave the same to the winner. I don't know, but I still think he might have more up his sleeve here. Like he ran behind some good types and beginners chases. His mark doesn't look too bad here. 7 pounds off is going to help. Around Leopardstown, I could see him just pinging out early, going around wide, and nothing getting to him.
Oh, bet the weekend.
There you go. Right, I might have to back on myself, but I am with Battle of Ridgeway. I imagine Battle of Ridgeway mugged you off.
That's it. Come here. I've been punting on horse a long time. I'm used to it. It's grand. We get it back the next day.
3 times. Anyway, yeah. I will be doing a Win Trixie as well. One of my main bets. There's an each way Yankee and a Win Trixie, and it's going to start here. The Paddy Power Cheltenham Countdown podcast, C&G National Hunt Flat Race. This is the Geldings equivalent, grade 2 for 4 to 6 year olds over the 2 miles. Lads, you probably don't even. You probably know who I'm going with here.
We know.
Yeah. Anyway, look, I'll leave it for the moment. Luke, I'll come back to you. Who do you like?
You know, I'm not the biggest fans of bumpers, but on the big occasion, sure, we went and had a look at a few of these earlier on. Like Andy, I know the one you're going to say. I don't really want to steal your thunder on that one.
Go on, by all means. Came to you first.
Martin Brazel's, it's only a game. Like the form of that bumper and punches town, like nearly everything went wrong. Like he nearly got knocked down at one stage and still had enough to win. Put it back him at 13-8. I'd probably leave him run.
Yes, you would.
Or I'd probably just have on him for Cheltenham rather than back him here in the hope that he goes out and does something impressive. I was going to chance Will No Limit or
with No Limit.
Declan Lavery. Sorry?
With No Limit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with No
Limit, I'll go.
With No Limit.
He ran in the bumper that Charismatic Kid won before Gordon bought him. As a lot of Gordons did at that time, probably just needed a run. Like he went off favourite. He was well held 12 lengths, but I thought he showed a great attitude in Ferrios today that we were there on New Year's Day to win the bumper. I thought there was plenty to like about that, and I didn't really think he deserved to be 20-1 here.
Very good. So so was that with No Limit then for Lukey? Dec,
Tentatively.
over to you.
Yeah, look, we all know where you're going, Andy. But he beat Boys Town, Treasure Memory, and Spectacular. Like Spectacular has won since, I think. Boys Town absolutely bolted up. I think Boys Town reversed the form of him.
That's a bold call, but it's not a million that he would now, because Gavin Cromwell's had
that was their sickest
had all
weekend.
sorts, didn't they? That
was their sickest weekend. I think he reversed the form of him. All right, certainly back him to reverse the form of him. I like Broadway Ted here. He won on debut with Air. Duvain was in third. Duvain in third. He was 3 lengths off Ballyfad at Down Royal. There's probably a line of form through Pay Me Later if anyone wants to go into it with only a game, and probably put only a game ahead. But like that horse has ran in more bumpers than Golden Tilly. I like Broadway Ted at the price here.
Broadway Ted for Dec. Yeah, he does look like a nice horse. Yeah, I am sticking with probably the favourite. It's only a game. I tried to get Supreme quotes. Nobody would quote me, and they would have kept my money.
Well, for next year?
No, for this year. I thought, remember I was telling you on previous taps, I thought they might go hurdling with him. I thought he might rock up on Stevens' day at Leopardstown, and they didn't, and they would have kept my money if they did that. But nobody would quote me. But anyway, I think this horse is serious. I did at the time when Luke said, like, the horse had no right to get up the rail on the inside. His change of pace was absolutely electric. He's beaten Boystown, who, as Dec rightly said, like, if he rocked up in the champion bumper, you wouldn't be discounting him by any stretch. And he could be the reason Bud Fox is going hurdling now.
I think Bud Fox disgraced himself as the reason he's going hurdling.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, but I'd say Keith Donahue's going to ride Boystown in the champion bumper. But it's only a game, like, had by John on the floor, that performance. I backed him for the champion bumper. I don't usually get involved in a race like that. I've actually 2 horses backed for that unbelievably this year. But I don't know what the story is, below my word. But this, in my opinion, was the most impressive bumper performance I've seen all year. Anyone that's listened to the podcast or listened to any opinion.
Was it really more impressive than we were all on that yoke that was falling out the back of the telly at 16-1? And my goodness,
well, no, it wasn't in terms of the bank account. No, because I didn't even back it's only a game. Like I just thought.
I think Luke and my sister were the only people in Munchestown who didn't back it that day. He's not smiling. Look.
Anyway,
it's the motor got on, Luke.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only a game for me. I really, really fancy him. I think he could be right out of the top drawer, and the moment the masses start noticing his sire, like,
go on, tell us about him again.
He could sire Goliath the Burley. It looks like he could sire a Shetland pony, or cover a Shetland pony, and the offspring will probably win a bumper at this rate. He's borderline automatic at the minute. Had a hurdles winner for Willie Mullins today at Thurles as well.
Is he in Gilmore, yeah?
I'd say the phone's ringing. He's standing for 20 grand though. He's a young sire. I was looking up there today, but like,
that's a lot of money.
I think
for that.
The French know what they have, and yeah. Anyway, I think this is a serious horse. I think you're going to be hearing an awful lot more about him. And I would imagine he's going to be a force in the novice hurdles next year, and I'd expect him to win this well and go on, and like, I'd be disappointed if he didn't give the champion bumper a good go, all being well. So it's only a game for me. We're all everywhere though at this stage. Broadway Ted for Dec, and with no LeMay for Lukey. That brings us to an end. An hour and 18 minutes on to Take a Pull podcast, episode 143, Dublin Racing Festival, day 1. We've had a few close calls with the Nap of the Top with Santos Asper and
I think Monch too.
And Monch too, yeah, that's what I was getting at. But Monch too, obviously the Nap of the Top. We had some close calls with Santos Asper and more Coco. But Monch too, the Nap of the Top in the spring Juvenile at around 3-1. And that brings us to an end of day 1, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And again, thank you to Patrick Harty as well. Much appreciated. At the top of the show there. Keep sharing and subscribing. Hopefully we'll see you in a few minutes for day 2. All the best and bye-bye.
Cheers.